Okay, this is my module, well, module and chapter 6 observation. Um, it's funny, I was listening to a podcast before I came in here to record, and a really good example of experiential superiority. I listen to a lot of sports podcasts, but this one particularly is two guys that work at KSL, they cover local teams, right? Um, and both of them do not pay attention to each other very well because they both think that they are really, really smart or have a lot of knowledge in a particular area. And so when the other one's talking about the thing that they um, think they're good at or think they know about, the person talking is not paying attention to what the other person says back to them, and vice versa, right? And so it's just like an echo chamber, not even an echo chamber. It is like you're talking to a wall or responding to a wall because neither of them listen to each other, but they also are self-aware and they understand that, and so they make it very funny. Really cool chapter. Once again, a lot of it was review because of all the classes I'm taking, all the communications classes I'm taking simultaneously. A lot of them talked about listening and active listening versus hearing in week one. But something I want to talk about, I want to specifically answer the reflection questions, right? Um, how has this impacted my role as a communicator? I actually got to do, for one of my applied communications classes, they had us record a conversation, any conversation, and look at what we're doing verbally in our communication. Um, and I noticed that the parts of the conversation, because it was just a conversation with my wife, and the parts of I could visually see the moments that I wasn't listening, right? And I would see myself have to mentally check back in and be like, what were we doing? You got to lock in. And it's something that I've always done with everybody, right? Something's going on up here. I don't know what it is, and I black out or tune out really quickly. And I don't think it's for any particular reason. I think that my brain is just moving in a different direction, right? So it was really cool to see that and see that I could visually see when my brain was checking out. I think that's pretty common, but I just hadn't seen it happen with me because I don't see myself do it, right? How did you become more mindful of your communication? Well, this actually was really helpful because that's what the discussion was about this week, right? We picked two things from the TED Talk that we were going to practice in our communication, um, and going along with the first question as well. The things I picked were don't multitask and use open-ended questions, because I think I often lead people in conversations where I want the conversation to go. Um, and not on purpose. It's just because maybe I have a story in my head that I'm trying to share, and so I'm trying to push them that way so that my story makes sense, right? But then I also get caught multitasking a lot, and I'm not particularly good at listening and doing something, right? It's different. Like if I'm washing the dishes and my wife is there with me, we can have a good conversation. But if I am focused on doing something that requires brain power, washing the dishes doesn't require that. If I'm playing a game or watching a show or listening to music, then I'm really, really bad at conversation, and it is impossible to talk to me. And so I practiced, like if I was listening to something and my wife wanted to talk to me, a friend wanted to talk to me, it's off, it's quiet, let's talk. And those two things really helped me. They made me become a better listener, right? I retained more information, I understood our goals for the week better because of that. It's a really cool chapter, really important chapter. I think it's the part of communication that we don't talk about very much, or we don't think about very much because we're so focused on making sure that we are good communicators. Well, this is a big part of that. So